Hey, good afternoon, guys. I wanted to take some time and talk a little bit about Clarity's network policy management feature in the xDome platform and how healthcare organizations can leverage xDome and this module to kickstart their network segmentation journey in a safe way. The biggest challenge for most organizations is you know, getting their network segmentation project started or not knowing how to start looking at devices. How do we segment devices that we don't know exist on our network, or, we don't know what they're talking to? How can we lock down access to those devices or for those devices in a safe way without impacting patient care, right? We might unintentionally block a device that could be detrimental to a healthcare organization. Um, and affect patient care in a negative way. So with Clarity's xDome, we can look at your traffic, whether that's passive or it's from a scan, such as an edge scan or a safe query, and also with your current integrations that you have integrated with xDome. And we can take that data and build accurate context around it, whether that's device counts, but also we can look at what those devices are talking to. And without Clarity xDome, you might have a solution like Cisco ICE that you can start segmentation with, but it doesn't tell you what the device is talking to, or a really deep understanding of what that device is, very specific profile of that device. And with xDome, you can get both. You can get the deep profile of the device as well as what it's talking to. And I'll show you that right here. So let's dive in. So under the network tab, we can go to ACL enforcement and ACL policies. And what we do at Clarity is we get a generalized understanding of, okay, all of our healthcare customers have Alaris infusion pumps, and this is what they talk to. Or, a vital signs monitor, such as Welch Allen, we can build generalized rules and recommended rules for these devices for you, and then all you have to do is push them to your enforcement point, such as Cisco ICE or a firewall, or like ClearPass Policy Manager. And these are all built in right out of the box. And based on traffic flows, we can then attribute devices to these rules. So as you can see under the matching rules column, there's a number there, and that number is specifying the devices that match these rules. Not only can Clarity xDome understand or excuse me, not only can Clarity xDome provide recommendations, but we can also look at policies that are specific to your organization. So if we look at organization ACL policies, we can actually look at traffic flows that we're getting, and we can build these recommended policies based on what we're seeing. So they may be a little bit different than the recommended ACL policies because they're tailored to your specific environment. And looking at the access cameras, for example, we can specify that we want to monitor the policy and then also generate alerts. So what that means is, let's say that this access camera is talking to, these different servers, right? These specific servers. We can generate alerts. So that way, if this device, this camera deviates and talks to something else, we can then generate an alert in the dashboard. So that way you are notified to update the policy before it's actually pushed to an enforcement point like Cisco ICE or ClearPass or a firewall. So it's really easy to start a segmentation project by doing this, but it's also a safe way to do it because we don't want to just start pushing out policies when they could be wrong or incorrect and unintentionally block traffic for a patient device that could be a life or death situation. So when you have this generate alerts toggle on, I'll hit no, we can go to alerts and all alerts, and then I'll focus on alert category and then under policy deviation alerts. So any device that is out of compliance with the policy specified, it'll show up here. And then you can simply click on that rule and it'll take you to the alert number, and then it'll say out of policy communication. And then we can see the times that it was created, when it was updated, if there's any specific devices associated with it, or labels or assignees. And then we can go down to the deviating devices. So this will be a list of the devices specifically to this deviating alert. So you can click on the device and open up the asset and see what it is. Um, whether you need to update the MAC address or update, um, that specific policy in ICE, or, however it may be configured. You can then drill right into this asset and see what it is or what might be having an issue depending on um, the network configuration. So after the deviating devices, we can also look at the deviating traffic. So this right here will tell you exactly what traffic changed in the policy. So it'll show you the protocol, whether it's TCP or UDP, the direction, side A and B ports, and then the side B IP. So this will help you update your policy before it is actually being deployed um, in your environment. And then lastly, we can look at the history tab. So this will give you kind of an audit trail of, when that alert was detected. Was that device offline? Did it come online? And then also the affected devices associated with this specific policy deviation alert. But going back to the ACL table, I wanted to show you quickly the rules and the ACL itself. So let's just look at the infusion pumps. Most healthcare systems have an infusion pump of some kind, typically Polaris. So I think that this would be an effective example. So we can look at the policy rules, and there's 6 different rules here, and we can either export this list and copy and paste it into a system, um, or we can actually push it to a system as well. But as you can see, we have the rule name, the specific protocol, IP protocol, the side A ports, B ports, and the side B IP. And this is all done for you in Claroty. You don't have to understand what your alerts pumps are talking to or what your CTs are talking to. That would be a guessing game. That would be a nightmare. So Claroty can actually provide all this for you based on the traffic flows that we're seeing and understanding. And we have a deep understanding of over 450 protocols. So any medical device that's connecting to your network will be able to understand the protocol it's talking as well as what it's talking to. And then we can help build these very specific rules for you to push to your enforcement points. And then going back to the organization ACL rules, let's say that I wanted to push this access camera policy to my ICE deployment. I can simply go over here, and this opens up a window, and we automatically put the ACL or the DACL in the correct syntax that Cisco ICE understands. And then we can also push the DACL and build the DACL right in xDome. And then via an API, we can push that right into ICE. So we can give it a name. So we'll just call it xDome Access Cameras DACL. And then, let's say we wanted to export the authorization profile and the DACL. So you typically map a DACL to an authorization profile in ICE. So we can create that DACL name, and that'll be this information here. And then we can also push, or excuse me, we can also rename and push the authorization profile name as well. So instead of having to copy this and build all your authorization profiles out in ICE manually, if you want, we can build these authorization profiles for you and push them automatically into your Cisco ICE environment in the correct syntax, so that it's actually understood and enforced by Cisco ICE. Lastly, I wanted to show our integrations really quickly. So we have support for 102 different integrations. And as you can see, the first line is some NAC solutions. We support Cisco ICE, Aruba ClearPass, Fortinet from Fortinet. And then we also support a wide range of firewalls. So we support, Palo Alto, Fortinet firewalls, and then checkpoint firewalls as well with the IoT controller. So we can help you utilize technologies that you're already paying for, but with the rich context that xDome gets from your network and understands how the devices are communicating with each other, we're then able to accurately build these hard to do policies that you wouldn't be able to do without xDome, or that may be questionable. And you, especially in a healthcare setting, you don't want to affect patient care, right? That is top priority. So with a platform like xDome, it makes it really super simple to build these rules and effectively secure your network and doing it in a safe way. So really super easy to deploy integrations that we can actually use as enforcement points in your network. But without xDome, it would be definitely much more difficult to lock down or implement um, a segmentation strategy. But I wanted to thank you guys for viewing today, and I hope that this has been informative for you.